Color and Life podcast.
Or welcome back, whichever matches the experience you have with us. I'm Jennifer.
And I'm John Michael.
And we can be found, all the places we can be found and stuff are listed, or you can go to www.colorandlifepodcast.com and find everything. We also have stuff up on the screen right now for a lot of the ways you can find us. And the contest rules and everything for all the alongs that are going on right now. This is episode 46?
Yes.
Okay. I was drinking water. And eating cheese and Belvita Bites. Haven't had those for a while on here. And
she had the munchies.
I did. We have some alongs going on. We still have the family movie night cow.
Mm-hmm.
And again, all rules and everything are on the webpage. And we also have the design along. And we have Zoom, the Yarns Around the World, also has a slide into fall and a charity along as well. You moved my... Oh, there he is. So the charity is the Cancer Kicking Critters. And this is not one, actually. This is one my son made for me, but they look like this. You just make the little critters, and these apparently are really good for the little ones because they can hang on to them. And
they're adorable.
They are
to boot.
Adorable. And Shirley makes a ton of these. Shirley 123. And she's on Zoom quite a little bit. And some of her things are also in the YTW and the family movie night along threads. Anyway, I love the little button. The little bow. Little flower bow. Okay. Anything else for announcements? Stuff about us? We've just been making stuff. I've been
making other things.
We've been doing landscaping crafting. A lot of that's on the Instagram. There were some pretty intense machine crafting going on. Crafting via tractor. Anything else?
I don't think that counts as crafting.
It doesn't count as crafting?
That is...
Maybe we should do a poll.
It's called construction. There's already a word for that. It's called construction.
Should we have a vote? Whether you could call construction crafting via tractor?
Of course you can call it that, but it already has a name.
I think it should be a thing.
It's called construction.
I think it should be tractor crafting.
No. It's called construction. Okay. You could call it that, but you shouldn't, because it already has a name. It's called construction.
Alright. Okay. Anything else we want to share about what's been going on with us?
Nope.
We share the crafting stuff that we've been doing, and the thinking stuff we've been doing.
Yeah. We do a lot of that.
Yeah, we do.
We kind of don't stop. It's a problem.
It's a continuous thing. Anything else? Should we get on with the show?
Yes.
On with the show.
On with the show. But we didn't start with the show-offs.
Oh, show-offs. What?
Okay. Who's going first?
You are.
Okay.
Or do you think I should?
Let's see. I think we are actually equally matched for once. So.
I really only have 3.
You can go first.
Alright, so the first thing I'm going to talk about, I actually haven't, I don't remember if I shared. But I went up to Yarn Fest. We went up to Yarn Fest.
Mm-hmm.
Saw this amazing thing made out of minis. by Heidi Bear. And it was the unicorn.
Yes.
She had mini sets for it. And I decided I would start with something a little smaller. So that I could get the hang of it and get back into crochet, because I haven't done crochet for a while. So here are these little bluebirds of happiness. And if you want to see some amazing stuff, just go check out all her things. They are they're
super fun.
Ladybug Lily right now is doing a Happypotamus.
And the Stegosaurus
totally amazing.
One is cool.
The Stegosaurus one is totally amazing.
Oh wait,
Rhinoceros one.
Triceratops. It's a Triceratops.
Oh, Triceratops. That's right.
I have.
She has a Brontosaurus too.
I have ASDF in my brain. I am a Stegosaurus. Sorry.
Okay. So here are show this one. So I have to make a bunch of these, and these are all being made with colorful eclectic colorways. There's the yellow, which is Sunshine in a Bottle for the centers. Then the petals are, let's see, I Believe in Pink. The petals are I Believe in Pink. The green is Peacock. And the outside edges and what's going to be connecting them and everything is, I think this is Purple Velvet. Yeah, Purple Velvet. So, this is the outside edges. I've got another little center done. I've got a lot to do still, but they're nice to kind of get back in. I haven't gotten to the point in this project where I can just do it without really, really watching the pattern. So it's kind of taken a back seat in some ways because of time demands. Anyway, and this is in my Wicked You Fiber Arts project back. Alright, this is my first one.
Cool. Should I go in chronological order?
No, I think I want to keep going actually.
Oh.
And just do mine and then we'll do yours.
But
I know. So this, because mine are going to be pretty fast.
Well, can I show my scarf first?
Yeah, do your scarf first.
So, this is the one I've been showing on the podcast fairly regularly. But, look at how much I've done.
You've done a lot. You made a big difference.
Yes. So, oh, sorry. I was showing you the backside there. So,
hold it up. Closer to them.
Been working on this pretty regularly, just whenever I'm sitting down and think of it.
And this is Colorful Eclectic.
Charcoal, I think. Graphite.
Graphite.
Sorry. Those are the same thing.
That's graphite. And it's on her MCN base. Right?
Graphite and charcoal are the same thing. Kind of.
Isn't it on her MCN base?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. And you're using Chow-Goo needles, right?
Yes.
All right. Is that it? Is that all you want to say about it?
Yep.
You need to put another progress keeper in.
Okay, give me another progress keeper.
No problem.
Sure, I'll show him next time.
Okay. So he has a progress keeper now. And apparently he doesn't want to show it to you, so you'll see it next time. Alright. What's next? Color and Life Cal?
Yeah, I guess so.
I need you to hold this closer.
Okay.
This is
Almost done?
done.
No.
It's off the needles. It needs to be washed and blocked.
There you
It needs
go.
to be washed and blocked and then seamed. But this is Knit Stitch, her Dusky Rainbow. So, this is going to be washed and blocked out. And this is done with 6 minis while the other one was done with 5. The pattern is currently with test knitters and should be soon. Here's the other one, all finished. But you guys have seen this one before. This is with Dogstar Knits minis. I think that's it at the moment. Wait, Eiffel Gold.
Oh, that's what.
All right, so Eiffel Gold. This
I just had a math moment.
is my other needle that I'm using to bind off. But I have started the bind off process. So this is the bottom. This is the bottom edge. So I'm going to hold it to you. I'm going to show it to you upside down. And I did some modifications on it that I'm pretty sure I'm going to stick with. I'm going to lay this out maybe and take some pictures of it.
I think you should stick with them.
And then look at it. But I think I like this modification. What I did, the I-cord would go here, but I added some extra and then did a different pattern on the edge because I had the yarn. And I think I'm going to keep it. But I might change my mind and rip back. We'll see. So this is really almost done. Just need to finish this I-cord bind off. And so I have this much left of the I-cord bind off. So I'm not quite, I don't think I'm quite halfway done. No, not quite. All right. I have been doing Tour de Fleece, and you'll see some pictures of that at the end with some of the Tour de Fleece stuff that I've been doing. That's been a lot of my spare time has been spinning.
Yep.
Lately. And I'm working on my Elizabeth now. Oh, I forgot how much I love that wheel.
Mm-hmm. Is it my turn?
I think it is.
All right. Should I do it all?
Yeah, do it all.
Okay. So, I guess we'll start at the beginning, which is this. It's a pentagon. And I constructed it using my, well, I guess I should do this first.
Mm-hmm.
I put some foam in the bottom of my box. And I reevaluated what I want in here so that, you know, and this I take with me everywhere, so I have my pencil and a pen and a Sharpie. And then I also have my accoutrements so that I can draw really big circles with my compass attachment. And then, oh, okay, so, sorry. It's a little bit of new acquisitions. But I got this really tiny 6-inch scale ruler that just makes me happy and is so useful. So, and it's metal. It is exactly what I was looking for in a scale ruler. Anyway, I use my compass and my scale ruler, straight edge, to make a little pentagon on a piece of wood. And it's actually, fun fact, it's right, it's the next piece of wood in this from the top of my box. So, same piece of wood that I cut it from. And then, so I took this and I traced out 11 more on...
I was going to say there's little circle marks on there.
Yeah, that's from the compass.
That's from the compass?
Yeah, so...
Hold it up.
Yeah. So I can actually, I have a picture of the full construction before I cut it out that maybe we could put in. Okay.
You just have to send it to me.
Yeah. So there's actually more off to the sides of the pentagon because you have to get proper. It's really cool. I love it. Like, it's so satisfying. And then this is another one that I did for something else. So I think that one's no, that one's not the one from that. This one is the one from this though. Anyway, so I did another one because I needed another from another piece of wood, and I had lost this one.
And it's thicker?
It's a little bit thicker, but it's not, that's not a problem. And then I cut out 11 more on the bandsaw, and I sanded them down to roughly regular. Wait, sorry, no, I didn't sand them down. I just beveled the edges, and I glued them together into this.
Show them the bevel parts on the inside.
So I made this, and this was
Got a hole in
basically,
it.
it does have a hole in it. That's because this piece of wood had a knot that was falling out. And this was my swatch, so I didn't bother to care. And it's cracked, you can see. Just a little bit of crack there. So it's cracked all the way down the side there. That's not a problem, because this is a shop cup. And it's for holding my lathe tools. So, use these on the lathe when I turn stuff. And speaking of the lathe, I made these.
You say you showed them before, and maybe you did, but I don't remember.
So, yeah, I made
Where's
these.
your bee?
I turned these on the lathe. It's not. No.
Okay.
So.
He made a bee.
No, I didn't. So this is. I made this, and it was a swatch basically. It's very, it's got some spaces in it. It's very not perfect. And then I made another one. Or two.
Show that one.
And then I made this one.
Oh.
Which, so...
What happened to those other ones?
Well, so I made another one, and it was fine. I gave it to my brother. And then I made a third, but I readjusted the sander at the wrong angle, so it was too big. It was too big. So I started putting them together, and they weren't the right angle, and so all the sides didn't fit together properly.
Okay.
So, geometry fail. So then I made this one, which is the best one I've made. I finished it, sanded it down, finished it.
I really like that one.
Yeah, me too.
You showed this one off on Zoom right after you finished it.
Yeah. Yeah. So, got all that done. And I'm currently using it on my desk, which is why it's full of my favorite pencil, and some other pencils, and erasable pens, and a Sharpie, and a pen. By the way, these blue pens are the best pen I've ever used, and I've only found them one place, which was given away at the transfer fair at Red Rocks by Regis University. So, thank you, Regis. I'm not going there, but thank you. I have like 3 or 4 because I got one and they were like amazing pens, so I like picked one up every time I was there, and I was there for a couple of years. So, and then I went, okay, so I've got a dodecahedra, which is what this is.
Missing one.
It's missing a side, but that's because it's a cup. And the side's there in spirit because all of its edges are there. So, so I made a dodecahedra, and I thought, well, I can make an icosahedra, because dodecahedra and icosahedra are very close buddies. Like they're the dual. I think is actually the proper term. Their graphs are the dual of each other. Which I'm not going to explain because it's kind of complicated. Well, okay. If you replace the center of all the sides with a vertice, and then connect all of those vertices, you get the graph of a dodecahedra. So, and then if you take the center of every side of a dodecahedra and put a vertice there, and then connect all of those vertices, you get an icosahedra. And you can go back and forth. And that's what the dual means. So, they're very close buddies. And octahedra and hexahedra are also duals. The hexahedra, more commonly known by a street name of cube. And then this was the first icosahedra I made, which it's cute.
It's very cute. Where's the little guy?
I made it too small. I thought it would be bigger.
You have to go
but
get
it was
the
the
guy.
only one I made. No, I don't.
Yeah, it's so cute with the guy.
No, I don't. So
You've got this little blue squishy guy, those hand things. He's got a little face on it.
There.
And you stick him in there. You stick him in, and he's so cute because he just barely fits.
Okay, so this is the first one I did, and I thought it would be bigger, and so I made this one, and it was bigger.
And now they nest.
Well, yeah, I guess they do, but that's only because of the symmetry of the things.
So
anyway.
now you have nesting
Nesting icosahedra. So yeah.
And they're so cool. You can't quite see it. Here, we can do it with this. When you like set them down and you can see in them. So they're like perfect little set on your desk.
And hold stuff.
And hold stuff things.
Yep.
Because you can reach
so, like,
all the way in.
This is like the paperclip edition. This is like the
Binder
candy
clip edition.
This is like the candy edition. So you just put your candy in there, and then you turn it towards either your clients or yourself, depending on how you're feeling that day. And then this is the pen cup version. I actually want to use these.
You can't use these as a pen cup because they don't.
Yeah, they don't stand up straight, and the opening isn't small enough, and they're not deep enough. So that's why these are the pen cup version. I actually want to make some of these that I could use as flower pots for flowers and such.
Ah. Earthquake. I'm putting these down now.
Thank you. Yep, that's everything.
Okay. So that's everything we got to show.
Is it? What about that bag?
This is my work on it bag.
Oh, okay. Cool. So yeah.
No, we're conversing. That means you can't do that.
No, you're doing the giveaways.
Oh!
I think. Yeah, see? Giveaways.
Okay, so it's giveaway time. So, right now it's giveaway time.
Oh, I guess you need to find something to give away.
I need to do that again. Giveaway. Be happy. Giveaways. So, giveaways. Okay. The winner of our last giveaway from the Tickle Pink, of the Tickle Pink book is Vishaw7. She won again.
Nice.
We really do just randomly
we do random numbers.
So she said, we were talking about multi-crafting last time, and the question was, how do you divide your crafting time? What other crafts do you do? Stuff like that.
Yes.
And she said, what I find challenging is just figuring out how to divide my crafting time. I feel pulled in all directions. Me too. Do you feel pulled in all directions? Anyway, so contact us, and I need your email address for this one. Or no, your Ravelry. I have your Ravelry. Just contact us and let us know you've seen this. And for the winner of last time, still hasn't contacted me, and I think I forgot to say to contact me last time. So contact me, and we will move forward. All right, now we have a new giveaway for this time, so congratulations. And it's a wonderful book. You'll love it. All right. Giveaway this time. You get to talk about it.
Okay.
So this giveaway.
Okay. This giveaway is it's in a little bag with a nice geometric pattern. And it's 2 skeins of this Kenzie yarn from New Zealand. Seeing the NZ. It's highlighted because it's from New Zealand.
And it is 50% merino, New Zealand merino, 25% nylon, 10% angora, 10% alpaca, and 5% silk.
So it's a very nice yarn. And then we got this sidewinder hat in a crochet and knitting pattern.
Yep.
That comes with it.
All right, so this one's a fun one. And what's our question? What's our prompt? It's kind of a multi-part question, so you need to just, so it's, has perfectionism negatively impacted your crafting? Why or why not? Okay, so that's our giveaway. Is that, and that question will be up as an open thread in the Ravelry. And as soon as he's done with that, we will move on to our next segment, which is the conversation.
Yes, it is.
We will converse when he
Yes, our conversation.
All right. So last time we talked about multi-crafting. And this, during the time between when we podcast last and now, I have been observing and experiencing something that I observe and experience regularly. And it is related to perfectionism. And it really is... Something shifted in the last little time, and I really feel almost like I'm ready to crusade on this issue. I know, it's weird.
So, first, the Crusades were awful, and second, some of them almost didn't fail. So, I'm not sure Crusade is the best example.
I would win. He would win some. I would almost win others.
Yeah, it's... some of them almost didn't fail, so I'm not sure if that's the kind of goals that you want to be setting.
Revolution? Because they're not problematic at all.
Let's go with Uprising.
Yeah, because those have no problems either.
Well... Movement. Movement.
A movement.
Movement.
Okay. So, I guess I think I want to start a movement. And what this movement involves is... we all strive for excellence, but that excellence sometimes becomes perfectionism. And I have seen so many people afflicted with this that they won't... It's part of the... It's not exactly part of the I don't want to have to take the time to swatch, but I've watched you do it as you look at some of this stuff and you go, oh, it's not perfect, or it's not right. And there's this very, very fine line between assessing problems and issues with things and not giving yourself time to learn something. I mean, there used to be the concept in our society of apprenticing. And you apprenticed and you learned how to do it and you started understanding and you did the grunt work and you watched somebody and you watched a craftsman craft. You watched their process. And we kind of don't do that anymore. Between YouTube and everything else, it's like, oh, I can figure out how to do this. And yeah, we can figure out how to do it. But for some reason we think just watching one YouTube video or just knowing that it is something that can be out there means that we can just instantly be able to do it as good as they do it. And when we can't, or when we don't, or when that doesn't show up in real life, it's like this Eddie Izzard moment. Again, I will come out for one in the world.
I can't get the truth right. Okay.
And so...
Still not the best examples coming forth in this.
I understand that, but it's just it's the concept of the thing of what... how we don't allow ourselves to learn and get better. And we really revile the process of practicing. We want to be natural talent. And people that are good at it, or are good at something, I mean, people will say, oh, you're such an amazing knitter, you know so much and everything. Well, I've done a whole lot of it. And I don't expect myself to be perfect at everything. I've even experienced it as I was spinning that yak and silk.
I think what you're trying to get at is that with that what's the thing about you're such an amazing knitter, is that the response to that thought isn't you must have worked really hard. It's
right.
You must have just been good.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
It's that flaw in thinking that you would like to correct.
That's the thing. And because
you kind of missed that.
Yeah, because anybody could be, I mean, a
lot of people could be.
There are certain things that talent is helpful, or it gets you on the track faster, or you have an affinity for something, so you love it, so you pour passion into it.
That's the word I prefer, as opposed to talent. Because I don't actually think it's about inherent skill. I think it's about affinity. Your brain already thinks the correct way, and so it's not as jarring for you to try and think a different way.
But with painters and stuff like that, I mean, there are certain things I could get better with practice and doing that. I know that. I know I could do the thing. Like there was that thing.
But neither of us have an affinity with painting or drawing.
I do in my brain. I actually would really like to be good at it.
You would like to be good at it, but that's not the same as an affinity.
The only reason I actually probably didn't go into painting and didn't go into that is because I believed I couldn't. I believed I didn't have talent for it. So I never explored the chance. I never had the chance to see if I had an affinity with it because I was too scared. I was too scared of not being good. I was too scared of failing. And I didn't know how to...
Which brings us back to our main point.
Exactly.
Which is...
Exactly. That's the whole point. That's the whole point. And how do you get good at something? And do you want to put in the time? Yeah. Do you want to...
I was never meant for work.
Artists work, Franz. I believe they work very hard. Anyway. Sorry. It is work. That's the whole point. It seems to be sometimes written off as, oh, well, they just know how to do it, so what they do just is spectacular every time. When I was working on that, it's just come up so many different places. Like I was working on that Eiffel Gold. And I went, I have this extra, I don't quite like this part of it. What could I do? And so I looked at it and I thought about it and I put this extra. And there was something very fundamental with me in my approach to crafting that shifted right then. And that was, it's okay. If I don't like it, I'll pull it back. Or if I don't like it, it's only yarn. I invested hours and hours and hours making this and doing this. But it's okay. It was almost like that iconic thing where the artist is struggling or the person is struggling hard to work because they don't want to do it wrong. And the teacher comes up and makes a big slash right on the paper. Says, there, it's ruined. You can't do anything worse, so make something. Right?
Yeah.
And so it was almost, I mean, not that same kind of thing because there's not exactly the same kind of comparison in knitting. But because then it's just repairing and fixing and stuff. It's just not the same. But
that's because
it's not perfect anymore. You can erase it, but it's still not that perfect sheet of paper. So it's already been ruined. You can't do anything. You can't fail now because somebody else already ruined it.
I think of Monk's landscaping painting.
Yes.
Where he's got like perfect circles for clouds and little 3 sticks for trees. His rows perfectly. It's just like, and it's symmetrical.
And use straight edges and compasses. What are these little holes? So there's that, and that actually has an elegance of its own. That
it
kind
does.
Of
no,
precision.
I actually appreciate that.
Right, and that can have its own cool elegance. Life is so messy sometimes for a lot of us that I think sometimes we just want something to be perfect, or we don't want to mess it up, or we don't want to waste it, or we don't want to be bad. And I really want to get out of that mentality. And I think I'm headed out of it. I think I have been headed out of it for a long time. I mean, as I've been thinking about this, I'm reminded of like when you came to me with your books. as little. Have we showed those before?
No.
Do you have one handy?
No.
Yes, you do.
No.
You just don't want to go get it. You just don't want to go get
I
it.
would have to dig through my file.
Do you want to go see if it's kind of at the top?
It's not handy.
So he'd come to me when he was little with these books that were just, he thought he was writing. He really thought he was writing. And he'd come, and they were just, he'd go, look, Mom, I made a book. And he'd stapled it together, and he'd had a title, a cover, and everything. And he did know how to write his name.
Oh, and I do remember being really annoyed that I couldn't staple them like magazines because the stapler wasn't deep enough.
Yeah.
I wanted an extra deep stapler.
So, anyway, and so he had to make smaller books that fit in the stapler.
Which I didn't want to do. I wanted to make bigger books.
So, and they just had all these, I found him once when we were going through stuff and gave them to him, and he was like, what are these? I said, these are your books. This is your writing. They are. You remembered?
Yeah.
So he'd come and there'd be these just little squiggled lines, and he'd say, look, Mom, I made a book. I wrote a book. Read my book. And I wasn't going to tell him I couldn't read it, or that it was dumb, or that he hadn't written it at all. So I said, this is amazing. Read it to me. I want you to read me your book. So I'd sit there with these little squiggly line things, and he'd just tell me all these stories. And I could recognize and see that was a really important step in the process. And I didn't want to squelch that enthusiasm. But somebody, or if I would have been a different mom or been in a different space or not realized that, I could really easily have said, I can't read this. There's no words. And he would have had this huge cognitive dissonance thing of, oh, I guess and he could very easily have gotten the message, oh, I can't write. Instead of that just being a step in the process. And I know there's not quite equivalent things in quite the same sometimes in crafting, and as adults we understand and we can look at it and we know they're not words. We're looking at it and we're like, no, these are not words. They're not being formed correctly. And I still can't get it right, and we have lots of frustration at that. And I think we need to, maybe it has to do with breaking it down into what are the components that make it up, and am I getting these components, so you can practice the parts, the discrete parts that make something as a part of the whole.
Guess, maybe? I don't know what you're talking about exactly.
Would that make it easier for people to accept and to learn how to practice and do the discrete parts?
No.
Instead of trying to walk and chew gum at the same time and pat their head and rub their belly.
Well, there's just... all of society at this point has become a race. Everywhere you look. Doesn't matter what it is. It's always a race. There's always best.
It's all a competition.
Yeah.
You're always
competing. And we're just
competing.
buying into that competition. It used to be, and the biggest place I can see this is the way that we buy and sell things now. You can't sell something if it's not really good, because someone will just go somewhere else and buy it somewhere else. Used to be that there was a country store and they sold things, and you went there and you bought what you needed. And if it wasn't there, then you had to make it. That was it.
Or live without it.
Or live without it. And it didn't matter if it was slightly lower
quality.
quality.
You could order it from the Sears catalog. That's what was a big deal.
Oh, yeah. Well,
then there was the Sears catalog.
Right, exactly. But even then, now it has to be the best product for the lowest price. And so I've stopped...
And it has to be instant.
Yeah, I try not to buy into that. I try to just, if I find something that I trust will be, reliable, because I don't want it to break on me, and I like it, I'll just buy it.
Instead of doing the low price search.
Exactly. Because A, that kills small businesses, like it really kills them. And B, it buys into the perfection thing.
How so?
Well, it has to be perfect. I'm only going to buy it if it's the best.
Oh, okay, because a lot of it is, I'll only buy it if it's cheap. We don't even care if it's good anymore. We'll just replace it if it's not.
Right, because it was cheap, which actually makes you spend more money. But that's not the point.
Well, kind of is.
Well, no, it's not. Because the point is that it's not a healthy way of thinking, not that it's not
I see.
economical.
It's not the point that we're...
The economics is not the point that I'm trying to make.
Okay.
It's the healthy thinking that I'm trying to highlight. So, yeah, it's just... And it's not fun.
It's not fun.
To try and be the best. It's just not. It's a pain in the...
So you think...
rear. It's just...
So you think there's a competition factor that goes into all of this?
Yeah, that's what it is. That's what drives the perfection.
Is the competition.
Yeah. All of
this
society is a
idea
competition.
That we have to be the best.
Yeah.
So if I give up being... So you think giving up being having
and
giving
it's not
up
just
the
making
need,
things. It's everywhere.
So giving up the need to be the best, period. And giving up the need to...
I think it's a little bit more than that. Just giving up the need to be the best. I think it's stopping valuing being the best.
But then do you slide into everything's okay no matter what it is? And so you can't appreciate quality.
No, there's quality, and then there's the best.
So excellence is what you're talking about.
No, I'm talking... So
instead of
I have
the
to find the
title
best
of
one.
the best, you can have it be excellent, meaning it meets enough, it ticks enough of the boxes, and this is the excellent choice. Or you have achieved an excellent result. Like with my thing, I've achieved a result that I feel is excellent, and it works.
It's not even that. It's what I want. Is it what I want?
Okay.
It doesn't have to be the best if it's what I want.
So you think it has to do with wanting... Okay, so I'm trying to go back to kind of where I got, and I think to go into that, I mean to where I was before, and to tie that together, I think that has to do with wanting what I've done and wanting to learn. The wanting the learning part, and wanting the growth and wanting the improvement. And in order to do that, I have to keep working at it. I have to keep doing it.
Yeah.
Whether that particular...
And that's called process knitting.
Instead of product knitting. So I've just... You're saying it sounds like I've achieved even a new level in process knitting.
Yes.
And spinning. And weaving. Just in general. Because, yeah, I've just suddenly developed this extremely low tolerance for...
You've suddenly developed this extremely high tolerance for mistakes, is what you mean. For imperfection.
We're not making mistakes. We're making experiences.
That's exactly right. That is extremely pertinent. I don't think there is another quote that is as pertinent to our current discussion.
So, anyway, where I was going was why I was like, I'm on a crusade about this. Because I think it's really... I'm starting to see the ways that it is permeating and is detrimental to society as a whole.
Oh, yeah.
For children to get this idea, for children to think about this, for children
no,
to...
when I said it is literally everywhere, I meant literally everywhere. It permeates everything we do.
That's why I like, and I just realized, that's why I like Warcraft. Is because there's always achievements. It's process gaming.
There you go.
I am a process gamer.
That's you.
I like the process. I like the process of everything. I like the process of getting to know people. I like the process of conversation. I like the process.
It's called just living.
Instead of
competing.
Yeah, I hate that. And competition is so... There's some really good books. I'll put them up in the thing.
A very smart man. There was a time when it was proper, and there's a proper time for it to cease. Thomas Paine.
Cool. That's a very cool quote.
Yeah, it's good.
So,
like
going into this competition thing, though, I'll put these in the things we recommend. There's some books by a guy named Alfie Kohn, and he deals with, one of them is called Punished by Rewards, and the other is called No Contest. And he takes this concept of competition really seriously and talks about how it's really a problem in our culture as far as our way of thinking and how...
Can I borrow that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You finished with it, right?
Oh yeah, they're in the library.
Okay, cool.
They're in the library. So, our library. They're probably in the library too, but they're also in our library. But he deals with it, and he discusses studies that show that children, when given the option for a viable cooperative game, will choose to cooperate instead of compete. Anyway, it's really interesting. So, interesting stuff, a bunch of interesting stuff. And I think it goes into, like you were saying, that competition. And that's where some of that perfectionism comes. And we're competing against, sometimes we don't even know what we're competing against or for.
Which makes it really hard to win.
Yeah, exactly. Then it makes it super
really hard to win.
And I think I realized maybe that's what I gave up in this last little phase. I gave up competing with this mythical, it has to be this way, with this idea that I have to have it be a certain way for it to be okay. Maybe it's just that I gave up competing with that.
That idea and that concept has been the most toxic idea that I have in my brain.
Okay, what idea and concept?
The competition.
Oh, competition. So competition is the most toxic thing you have in your brain?
Yes.
The idea that you have to compete or that you have to do? Either with yourself or with anybody else or anything. Just
the perfection, the competition, the most toxic.
Interesting. Huh. Yeah, I think it comes down, I think that perfectionism is actually at its root competition. Competing with this ideal standard, competing with what you think you should be, competing with other people's expectations of you. A contest to see, wow, okay, there's a lot there. So we do like talking with you guys.
Meaning of life stuff.
We do like talking with you guys a lot. And so are we going to do another Zoom appointment?
Yes.
Wednesdays work for us.
Yep.
So I think we're going to do another Wednesday. We're going to do Zoom again. And maybe this part that we're kind of like, I wonder if competition is, we can explore in our Zoom conversation with you guys. We're going to do that from 5 to 7 this coming Wednesday. So July 25th. And all this will be on the screen. And in the show notes and everything else. just because you can't join then doesn't mean you can't join anytime. And I am try to be on in the morning, but the room's open, so come join. Message me on Instagram too if you want a certain thing, like a certain time or you're on, and just message me on Instagram because sometimes I'm available and can say, hey, hi, how are you doing? Anything else? Or you could message down below and stuff like that.
No, I think that's all.
All right. Yeah, that's kind of intense. Do we have questions for them?
Just, you know, contribute your ideas in the episode thread.
On the YouTube down below.
Yep. And I think other than
Yeah,
that,
that's kind of like full stop. Need to percolate on that, whether the root of that perfectionism is actually well, I guess we could ask them that. Do you agree that possibly the root of perfectionism comes from...
Do you agree with my analysis?
Yes, comes from competition and maybe a skewed sense of competition. Or maybe an augmented sense of competition that you're just always competing everything all the time. Okay, so I guess that's it. Until next time.
Have a colorful life. I wear an icosahedra now. Icosahedra are cool.
No.